My name is John Cheney, founder of Five Elements Constellations. I began my journey in systemic family constellations in 1999. Went to my first workshop that year. It was really kind of to find out what was going on with a job I had at the time as a piano teacher. I'd go into 36 homes in a week. So, long story short of it is, it was very confusing. It was basically a crash course family systems. Each lesson that I would teach and going into the different homes would be completely different one to the next. So some situations were fairly easy and others were more challenging. Children would have difficulty focusing. In some situations they'd be very focused, but be more focused on the technicality of piano, and in other situations it would be more focused on the creativity and fun of it. So there's many different situations. So I found myself wondering what was going on. Why are these so different? It was like going into a different ecosystem. Here's the desert. Here's an alpine environment. Here's the lush rainforest. They could be so different from each other. So family constellations helped me see what the underlying dynamics might be. I did my initial training with Dietrich Veth of Frankfurt, Germany for 7 years. Started getting out facilitating in 2002, and then some 2 years later I got interested in the five elements and started studying acupressure, Jinshin-Do acupressure, and we had a focus on the five elements. So I thought it would be nice to integrate my family systems learning and utilize the five elements to learn more about the acupressure meridians and what I was working with. So I began to set that up and began doing workshops focused mainly on that in 2006, although family systems constellations and five elements, many times the family system of course shows up in the five elements. Typically you see the elements are fire, earth, metal, water, and wood. It's typically, not always, earth. You can think of mother, right? Mother shows up in earth, and father shows up in metal. To give you an example of what we might work with, even if you've done a family constellation on that grief, sometimes the body is slow to, let's say, recalibrate to the new energy signature. So in other words, our somatic system, I believe, contracts and releases when we need it to. So if we're emotionally carrying something, our body is actually doing something, let's say we're doing it unconsciously to hold and have the moment when we can actually let go. It's not appropriate to go to work and have an emotional reaction there. So our body helps us with that. So if we're carrying systemic grief, it can be helpful to be in a setting, a five elements constellation setting, in which we can kind of relax and let the body release. I like to say in a five elements constellations, we come to a stage of passionate neutrality, meaning each element has a place and they're seen, heard, and felt. And many times within ourselves we can be fragmented and have aspects of our character we dislike and that we're fighting with. So in a five elements constellation, we're looking at that, looking for a state of balance, giving each element a place, and in the end we come to a state of compassionate neutrality. So I like to say the 5 elements is a model for systemic wholeness. I hope you can join me at one of my workshops. Just a quick overview from a somatic perspective of the 5 elements. So starting at the top, you can see fire and feeling. One of the organs associated with it is the heart. So if we have an impact, let's say our heart got broken by someone, some situation, then we might feel it in the chest area, near the heart, around the heart, in the shoulders and the arms. If we look at the earth element kind of represents what nourishes us. So if we've had any impacts from mother in terms of not being nourished, this would affect kind of the middle of the body, the stomach, and the legs. So these can be indicators. That's what's affecting me. So if you were to do a family constellation about your mother, these might be areas that you need to work additionally to help your body metabolize that constellation. And then you can see the feeling is worry. If we look at the metal element, it's just below it. This is kind of the respiratory system and gut area. So, and it could be related to father. And the feeling, you could say, when it's unregulated, or there's not a lot of energy of vitality, might be just the feeling of grief. So, so you can think in terms of breath and your gut feeling, and related to father, and affecting the chest, gut, and arms. As we go to the water element, this is related to the organs that deal with water in our system, and that is kidney and bladder. So the feeling when there's not a lot of energy there might be fear. And the areas of the body that it might affect would be kind of in the chest midline and the back, the entire back, and the back of your legs. So if you have any problems with the back of your legs, this might be an area to look at. Above that is the wood element. You can see it's impacted by anger. It's liver and gallbladder. So it can be in that area of the body and the sides of the body. If you have any IT band issues, temporal headaches, anger issues, this might be an area that can be worked with. It's also kind of the roots of our family system. This is just a quick, really simple look. There's so much depth. I invite you to investigate it. Thank you so much.